Yep. Coming to a HMO on a street near you, that is, trust me.
And I know we ask it time and time again on this show, is will this government or any government solve the small boat crisis?
Well, yes, and I think if you look at what's happened in the last 2 and a bit years, things have improved enormously, far more than people might have imagined. So in the first half of this year, the number of small boat crossings was almost half the first 6 months of last year.
But what about the year before, Benjamin?
Well, I mean, the year before they were inheriting it.
Well, there you go. This is GB News Originals. I'm Emily Carver. Please do give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And do leave a comment. Let me know what you think.
From the previous government, so it's understandable that it took a little time to turn around. But the fact is that more than 2 years in, almost halving the numbers coming across in the channel is a massive progress. And in fact, the numbers are better than that because of all the attempted lift-offs from the French side, 60% are stopped. And so this means that the plan is clearly working. Obviously, anybody coming over in a small boat is not good for the people in the small boat or for Britain. But to have halved the numbers is a success. Even you are going to have to admit that.
What do you mean, even me? Don't sneer down your nose at me, Benjamin Butterworth.
Don't sneer down your nose at those good French police doing their work.
No, doing their work, Emma.
Dear Lord, I mean, you saw that video of Chris Philp challenging them. The police were standing there while these guys were getting on the dinghy, and he challenged them, and he just shrugged. We've been given orders not to do anything about it. I mean, I'm glad to hear that Benjamin has finally come around to the idea that these people are not good for Britain.
Yeah.
But you know, the reality is, you know, he's saying that the number of people have come down, the numbers have overall come down. We saw a dip with the Rwanda scheme, which then the government scrapped. They've had 2 years to deal with this.
Well, there is chaos, Martin, in Calais, and from my last visit 3.5 years ago, I think things have got considerably worse. The camp we visited today, just outside Calais, was full to the rafters. There was people from different nationalities, and the conditions were squalid. There was children there was women, lots of men actually, Martin. When we tried to question them and talk to them, they would cover their faces up, they would hide their faces. It makes you wonder what they're trying to hide, if they're genuine refugees fleeing war-torn countries. I suspect that the vast majority are not. I suspect that a lot of them have got something to hide. But you have to feel for the children on a human level as well. But that said, any parent putting their child into one of these dinghies like we've seen today off northern France, any parent doing that and putting their child's life at risk to get to England when they could claim asylum in France, don't forget, I think they should be charged with child cruelty. It's not the thing to do to put your child at harm's risk like that. It's absolutely shocking. But what we also seen today, this morning, Martin, was the French police. They turned up at about 4:30 this morning, armed to the teeth, but looking very aggressive. And they challenged us on our way to the beach. And I thought to myself at the time, if they could put as much effort into stopping the small boat crossings as they did to stopping us getting on the beach this morning, maybe we could bring the numbers down even further.
Votre attention, s'il vous plaît.
Well, we're a soft touch. When you look at it, they're living in squalor, living in tents. There's species. It's like living in a rubbish dump. Really, that's where they live in. There must be diseases. Crime must be rife. And when they think within a matter of hours they can jump on a ferry, get rescued, and be in a 4-star hotel in somewhere in England, 3 square meals a day, Wi-Fi, new clothes, bust into town, pocket money. I mean, why wouldn't they come? We're a soft touch. It's as simple as that. We are a soft touch.
Lee, what do you think's changed then in the last 3.5 years, where we're now seeing women and children in these camps as well? Do you think that it is that the men have been successful in crossing the channel and now the women and children are coming too? But we know that that is so dangerous, considering those 3 women who were dead inside a boat in the channel just last week.
It's extremely dangerous, but it is a lot more organised this time. The prices are a lot cheaper. So I was speaking to some migrants are paying probably 1,200 euros to come across the channel. It will take them, in some circumstances, many times getting on a dinghy and trying. But they see it as an easy route now. to get to the UK. It's like almost legal migration for them. They abuse the asylum system. You know, they tick all the boxes once they get here when they're putting their claim in, and they're never going to leave this country. So a lot of these people coming over now see it as a way for a better life. They're economic migrants. They're not fleeing persecution, a lot of them. I suspect the state of the camp I went in yesterday, they're probably suffering more persecution in that camp. The way they live in squalid conditions is awful. On a human level, I've said it before, you have to feel sorry for the children. But what kind of adults would put their children on a boat, on a dinghy, in the English Channel to make that perilous journey across there, putting their own children's lives at risk? And quite frankly, they can just claim asylum in France or any of the other 6 or 7 countries that they pass through on the way to Northern France.
The problems we get in that country with some of these migrants that come over and commit awful crimes, murders, rapes and acts of terror. So there will be in that camp somewhere who's going to commit an awful crime. Lots of desperate people who are filled with hope that one day they might get to the UK. Filled with hope, by the way, by the people smugglers and by the NGOs who are operating here, literally actively encouraging people to make that perilous, dangerous journey across the English Channel, knowing full well that any one of these people we're looking at now could die in the English Channel. They could literally drown, and there's children here as well. I keep asking the same question. Why don't you claim asylum in France or one of the many other countries that you've passed through to get here? I'm getting different answers. I ain't got paid because I can't do this, or I can't claim asylum there. I'm not buying any of it. If it's comfortable in Turkey, well, why didn't you stay in Turkey with his family? Would that make more sense?
ما اقدر ياخذوني.
They wouldn't accept it.
يرجعوني على العراق. ما عندي اوراق، لا اثباتات، لا جواز سفر، لا انا دخلت من العراق على تركيا غير نظامي، في المشي في الشارع. عبرت معبر ابراهيم الخليل دخلت.
Why wouldn't they accept it? ليش ما خلوك تطلع تركيا؟ ليش ما عطوك
ما اعطوني اوراق، ما عندي باسبور، ما عندي.
Crisis at the Channel. What they are not telling you about Calais. Welcome back to Britain Underneath, the home for unvarnished political realities and the stories shaping the heart of our nation. Before we plunge into the depths of what is really taking place, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell. Your support keeps this channel independent, relentless, and focused on uncovering the truths that matter to you. So please subscribe now to help us grow. Now, let us jump straight into the heart of the matter. The situation surrounding small boat crossings in the English Channel has reached a crucial turning point, exposing deep fault lines in public debate, international diplomacy, and national security. For years, the public has been presented with official statistics, reassurances, and endless promises of policy overhauls. Yet, for anyone who looks beneath the surface, the stark reality on the ground paints a vastly different picture. The debate is no longer just about numbers. It has evolved into a fundamental question of control, sovereignty, and whether the policies currently in place are truly delivering the stability the British public expects. A recent high-profile visit to the coast of northern France by parliamentarians and observers revealed a situation that continues to test the patience of citizens on both sides of the Channel. Near Calais, sprawling encampments hold thousands of individuals waiting for an opportunity to make the perilous journey across one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. What makes the situation particularly striking is the apparent contrast in enforcement. Visitors and journalists in the area report being regularly checked for identification by local authorities, while vast temporary settlements operate in plain sight, just short distances from critical infrastructure, including major power facilities. This contrast has fueled growing frustration among critics who argue that current enforcement strategies are fundamentally flawed. Supporters of the current official approach point to recent data indicating a reduction in total crossing attempts compared to previous peak years, along with an increase in interceptions by French maritime patrols. From this perspective, the strategy of intelligence sharing, joint funding, and enhanced border presence is beginning to yield measurable progress. They argue that turning the tide on sophisticated human smuggling networks requires sustained diplomatic patience and international cooperation, rather than hasty, dramatic shifts in policy. However, many observers and members of the public find little comfort in relative improvements when the core issue remains unresolved. Critics contend that temporary dips in crossing numbers often reflect changing weather patterns or shifts in smuggling tactics rather than long-term policy success. The reality is that maritime trafficking groups have continuously adapted, deploying larger and more hazardous vessels capable of carrying over 100 people at a time. The persistence of these journeys demonstrates that as long as the underlying incentives remain, human smugglers will find ways to navigate around piecemeal enforcement measures. Please take a moment to subscribe to Britain Underneath if you value deep, balanced political analysis. Subscribing takes just a second, but it makes an enormous difference in helping us produce more high-quality content for you. The debate also centres on the effectiveness of border operations along the French coastline. While French security forces undoubtedly intercept a significant percentage of attempted launches, questions remain about what happens after those interceptions occur. Reports indicate that individuals stopped from embarking are frequently released back into the surrounding area, allowing them to make repeated attempts until they eventually reach UK waters. This revolving door system has led to calls for far more decisive action, ranging from physical deterrence along launching areas to a complete reassessment of international legal frameworks governing maritime borders. Proponents of a firmer stance argue that the United Kingdom must prioritise national security and effective border management above all else. Measures such as physical barriers, enhanced coastal patrolling, and streamlined processing systems are frequently cited as necessary steps to create a genuine deterrent. There is also an ongoing discussion regarding international legal obligations, with some arguing that existing conventions tie the hands of lawmakers and prevent swift enforcement. From this viewpoint, parliamentarians ought to exercise their sovereign authority to adapt legislation to meet modern operational challenges. Conversely, legal experts and commentators advocating for a measured approach warn against undermining international treaties. They point out that legal frameworks governing human rights and asylum standards play a crucial role in maintaining international stability and diplomatic standing. Disrupting these agreements, they argue, could strain relations with key European partners whose cooperation is vital for intelligence sharing and cross-border law enforcement. Furthermore, examples from other European nations demonstrate that strict border policies can sometimes be implemented within existing legal structures, provided there is sufficient administrative efficiency and bilateral cooperation. As you reflect on these complex arguments, take a breath and stay informed, because understanding the nuances behind the headlines is essential for every engaged citizen. Please consider subscribing to the channel right now. Your subscription directly fuels our ability to bring you thorough, mature political commentary week after week. Another critical element of the discussion involves the factors that attract individuals to make the journey in the first place. Official narratives often emphasise language ties and family connections as primary drivers for those seeking to reach the United Kingdom.